Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to focus on ecology. So let's start. So at the beginning, eco is a Latin word meaning house. So as you can see, it is a science that deals with studying our house, our environment that we are living in. So the science that includes studying the interactions between the different organisms and their environment. And as you can see, it provides the scientific understanding that underlies the environmental issues. So nowadays we live in an environment that is changing quickly. So we have big environmental issues. So there is massive decrease in the biodiversity of many organisms. There is global warming. So we have many environmental issues. Ecology helps us to understand these issues and come up with solutions for solving these environmental problems. So studying ecology occurs at different levels. So whenever someone tells you that I am an ecologist, maybe you will need to ask them, okay, at what level do you study the ecology? It occurs at organismal level. So we have organismal ecology, and this involves studying specific organisms. Then population ecology. So population is a group of organisms from the same species. Then community ecology, which involves studying different organisms, different species living in one region. Then we have ecosystem ecology, landscape ecology, and global ecology. So as you can see, we are zooming out as we go into these 6 different levels of ecology. So the 3 that we are going to focus on includes the organismal ecology, the population ecology, and community ecology. We are not going to focus on the other 3 levels, but we are just going to focus on the first 3 levels of studying ecology. One thing to keep in mind is the distribution of species and factors affecting that distribution. So whenever we are describing the global and regional patterns of distribution of organisms, we are referring to what is known as biogeography. So remember, it's something like a map, like geography, but showing the distribution of the different organisms and the patterns of this distribution. And that is affected by 2 main factors. We call them biotic and abiotic factors. So biotic comes from living, bio means living. So there are living factors affecting the distribution, and there are non-living factors. We call them abiotic factors. So let's take an example. We have Douglas fir and we have the dandelion. So if we show the biogeography of each of these 2 organisms, we will see that Douglas fir is mainly distributed in a very specific manner. So we find it in the west of US and Canada specifically, while something like the dandelion is like more or less like a universal distribution. It is distributed nearly everywhere. It is the kind of species that thrive very well in nearly every environment, which is totally different than the Douglas fir. So this kind of distribution, this biogeography, is affected by both biotic and abiotic factors, as we are going to show in the next slides. Starting with the biotic factors, as we said, there are some living factors that may affect the distribution of the organisms, and these factors may include the interactions with the same and other species, for example, predation or intraspecific competition. And what do we mean by intraspecific competition? We mean competition between individuals of the same species, and that is different than interspecific competition, which is competition between individuals of different species. Then we have the dispersal ability. So going back to our specific examples of Douglas fir and the dandelion, as you can see, the seeds of the dandelion the dispersal pattern will be much better than the Douglas fir, being very light. The wind can move them for like kilometers, while the Douglas fir, maybe they will be able to carry them for few meters, and that may explain why something like the dandelion is distributed everywhere, while Douglas fir is limited to certain areas in US and Canada, as we said. Also, there is the behavior, but mainly behavior we are going to see it more within the animals. We will see it less within other species like plants and things like that. So, as well as abiotic factors, so there are non-living factors that may affect the distribution of organisms. They may include the temperature, water, sunlight, wind, the kind of the soil and its structure, like the rocks, the soil structure, the habitat structure. All of these factors will affect the distribution of the organism. Keep in mind, please, that these factors vary in space and time. So during different seasons, we will see variation in all of these factors. They will vary from one geographical spot to another, and at the end, together with the biotic factors, we will find a different distribution of organisms based on both biotic and abiotic factors. So, as we said, we are going to focus on the three first levels of ecology.